Alright, everybody, it is time to predict the BAFTAs. The BAFTAs tend to be a little bit tough to predict. I mean, 2 years ago was especially just all over the place. So even though I'm feeling pretty good about my predictions in most of these categories, I kind of just expect that they're just going to throw a wrench into all of it and just give us a lot of chaos again. So let's just get into Best Picture here. So with this, Anora won PGA and DGA. So I'm seeing a lot more people starting to predict Anora to win at BAFTA as well. And I don't necessarily think that PGA and DGA wins have to make it correlate with a BAFTA win for Best Film. Films don't need to win BAFTA to win the Oscar. They can just win PGA and win that Oscar, and that's probably what's going to end up happening. I am yet to see some sort of strong international support that would signal to me that Anora is winning BAFTA. It did very well on the nominations, but I don't know about the Best Film prize here. The two films I'm really between are The Brutalist and Conclave. I don't really think Emilia Perez has much of a chance anymore after, everything that's happened. So I think Conclave and The Brutalist just make the most sense here for Best Film. Obviously, Edward Berger 2 years ago, when it was really chaotic, just took home everything basically for All Quiet on the Western Front, so he could very well do the same again with Conclave. It is a very British movie, something that will obviously appeal to them, but The Brutalist just feels like the type of movie that normally would win BAFTA. I mean, for months here we've been hearing comparisons to The Power of the Dog and Roma, and after I saw it, it's one of my favorites of the year. I started making those comparisons as well because I just felt like this is going to be something that is big at the start and then falls off. Those films, Power of the Dog and Roma, big achievements, and guess what? They won BAFTA and lost the Oscar. So The Brutalist feels like it's in that type of territory right now. And also, we can go back to The Revenant, where The Revenant also did not win Best Picture at the Oscars, but it won Best Director and Best Actor there. It won Best Film here, and that package just feels similar to The Revenant. So I just feel like The Brutalist is going to be it. Also with Conclave, I don't really want to just predict it for the sake of it being Edward Berger and he took home everything 2 years ago. I don't really buy Edward Berger being this reverse Denzel Washington where he just wins everything for every movie he does. So I'm just going to have to pass on it, but it is very tempting. I am really close, but The Brutalist just feels like that BAFTA Best Film winner that we're used to. And going right along into that, Best Director, this feels like it's Brady Corbet. I mean, I would really be surprised if Anora won Best Director here, even if it is somehow able to win Best Film here. It just doesn't feel like the normal BAFTA pick for Best Director. And Edward Berger for Conclave, once again, yeah, he won for All Quiet, but this also doesn't have as much spectacle as All Quiet did, so I just feel like this is going to be Brady Corbet. Best Actress, I do really think Mikey Madison can win here. I am a lot closer on predicting this than a lot of other people are, because a lot of people just seem to think it's just open and shut for Demi Moore. I do think there is potential for her to lose. BAFTA tends to not care anywhere near as much about the career narrative as SAG and the Oscars do, so it's possible that she even loses here but still wins SAG and Oscar. So that's why I am looking out for her to maybe lose here at BAFTA. Madison feels like the only other one other than Moore that can take it, and with Anora surging here, maybe she is able to, but I am just in a predict it until proven otherwise stage here with Demi Moore. So I'm just going to stick with her, say that, yeah, I mean, the BAFTAs loved The Substance with nominations. Why wouldn't she win here? Best Actor, this one's tough for me. A lot of people are just, going with Brody, not a second thought in mind. I do see a lot of people trying to go with Ralph Fiennes because he's British, saying, Conclave still has a chance, But I feel like the British actor winning at BAFTA thing is a little bit overrated. I mean, if Colin Farrell could not even win for Banshees of Inisherin when Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan won Supporting Actress and Supporting Actor for the same film, I really don't think Ralph Fiennes is going to be able to win this award just because he's British. So I really do think it's a two-horse race between Brody and Chalamet. And Chalamet is really, really tempting. The BAFTAs love Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan himself is a BAFTA nominee. The BAFTAs love the biopic performance, Rami Malek, Austin Butler. Even if we're excluding music biopics here, they gave it to Will Smith instead of Benedict Cumberbatch for the best film winner, Power of the Dog. So it's very possible that Chalamet just takes this because they love that biopic role so much here at the BAFTAs. But the thing keeping me from doing that is, I'm already predicting Best Film and Best Director here at the BAFTAs, and I think it's losing Picture and Director at the Oscars. I think Brody's more likely to win the Oscar than The Brutalist is able to in Picture or Director. So it would feel weird to me to do the exact opposite here and predict The Brutalist in Picture or Director and not in Best Actor. So I'm just going to ride with Brody since he is in the supposed frontrunner for Best Film here at BAFTA, but I am really, really tempted to predict Chalamet. Supporting Actress, this is one where I just feel like it's going to be Zoe Saldana at the end of the day. Even with Emilia Perez suffering, she has proven time and time again where she's just not getting hit like the rest of the film is. So I do think she's going to win this. I think she's going to have enough international support through the controversies to win. Rossellini would probably be my runner-up here because, she has been really consistent in this race for supporting actress, and it feels like, Conclave, their most nominated film here, if they want to give it an extra award, supporting actress might be it with those Emilia Perez controversies. I don't really think Ariana Grande or Felicity Jones stand a chance here. So, Rossellini, I'm watching out for her, but I do just think it is going to be Saldana at the end of the day. Supporting actor, this is another one where I'm watching out for an upset, but it's just like Best Actress, where I'm just in a predict it until proven otherwise stage here with Kieran Culkin. I do think he is vulnerable. Guy Pearce could win here, but, with the film on the decline, like I've said a bunch of times already in this video, it would feel weird to predict him, so I'm just going to go with Culkin because he is the frontrunner. He has been sweeping the award season. He's won by far the most awards out of everyone, even with his film not making it into Best Picture hardly anywhere. So I do just think it's going to be Kieran Culkin here. Original Screenplay, I know this has gotten narrowed up because The Substance won this category at Critics' Choice, and it is kind of tempting to predict it because Anora might not win any other BAFTA awards, but these smaller, critically acclaimed American films that go on to win Best Picture at the Oscars that don't win Best Picture at the BAFTAs still can win Screenplay. Think of Spotlight. Spotlight's only BAFTA award was for Best Screenplay, and it obviously went on to win that and Picture at the Oscars. So I do think Anora can just kind of follow in Spotlight's footsteps here. Just win Screenplay and be good for the Oscars. The Substance, like I said, that is tempting because of that Critics' Choice win, but also the fact that it didn't get into Best Film, I'm just going to have to say Anora takes this, but it is very possible that it does lose because, once again, I have not seen enough win support among international groups, so it is possible Anora loses, but I'm going to stick with it as my prediction. Adapted Screenplay, this is obviously Conclave. We don't have to spend any time on this. Best Casting, I'm kind of going insane trying to predict this one. I really don't know what is happening here. I really want to predict The Apprentice because the BAFTAs loved The Apprentice, 2 acting nominations, was long listed for Best Film. I think The Apprentice has a chance here. I mean, just casting the character of Donald Trump and, Sebastian Stan just pulling it off perfectly. That's like, in my opinion, the casting achievement of the year. Who do you get to play this guy? And then obviously Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn, just freaking perfect. So I think there is honestly a chance The Apprentice takes this, but if we're looking at the history of this BAFTA Best Casting category, of the 5 years we have had this award, 4 of the winners, that is, were in Best Picture at the Oscars. So it would feel weird to me to predict The Apprentice when, it isn't in Best Picture at the Oscars, when there are 3 other films here that are. So, just going along with what they tend to like casting these central figures that are just carrying the movie on their shoulders, and that kind of fits The Apprentice, but I kind of think a complete unknown might be taking this. I mean, Elvis won Best Casting, so maybe, that biopic playing an iconic singer, that just takes the award here. So that's what I'm going with for now. I might change it later on. I mean, I do think a Nora is possible because, once again, great casting across the board, and Mikey Madison does carry that film on her shoulders as well. So there's a possibility. Conclave would make sense as an ensemble award, but doesn't really make sense as a BAFTA Best Casting winner if you're looking at their history. So I'm just going to go with a complete unknown for now and hope it sticks. I will say, if a complete unknown does win this category, I will definitely be looking out for Chalamet to win Best Actor. Best British Film, this is obviously Conclave, nominated in Best Picture. We don't have to talk about it. Best British Debut, this is Kneecap, also pretty dang easy. It was in their 10 for picture, so it's gonna win here. Non-English language feature, I do think Amelia Perez is going to win here at BAFTA because I'm Still Here did not good on the long lists here. It was only long listed for Best International Feature and got the nomination, obviously. But the fact that Torres wasn't long listed, maybe that was just a visibility issue because not enough BAFTA members had seen I'm Still Here yet, and then after it just blew up after those Oscar nominations, maybe enough just went out, saw it, and are like, yes, this is what I want to win. I regret not putting it in Best Picture now and Best Actress. So maybe that happens with I'm Still Here. That is definitely a possibility. And because I am going to be predicting this for Best International at the Oscars, no matter what happens here, I think maybe I'm Still Here does take BAFTA. But I think the safe thing is to just go with Amelia Perez because, what was it? 10 nominations, 11 nominations here, so something like that. I'm just going to have to go with it and hope I'm wrong and hope it's I'm Still Here. Documentary, this is going to be No Other Land. I have not seen any evidence as to why No Other Land is not just going to be the winner here and at the Oscars. Animated film, this one is very tricky to predict. Something that came to my attention a few days ago is that normally the winner for animated film is only voted on by the animated branch, but this year they're allowing the entire British Academy to vote for animated feature. And a real negative thing for Flow here is that Flow, I don't believe, has been released wide in the UK yet, or if it is, it's like right now when it's being released. So there might be a significant visibility issue with Flow and the entire British Academy. So, I was initially thinking, Globe, BAFTA, Oscar, follow that boy in the heron path, easy peasy. But now with this new information that I got a few days ago, I'm starting to think Flow just is not going to win here. So I'm kind of between Wallace and Gromit and The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot does seem like it's starting to inch out ahead of the other competition for the Oscar, but Wallace and Gromit here, nothing in the Wallace and Gromit franchise has lost at the BAFTAs before, so I think it's possible that they give Vengeance Most Foul the win here, and so that's honestly what I'm going to predict, just because Wallace and Gromit is a British icon. I mean, the only British thing that's valued more than Wallace and Gromit is the monarchy, it seems. So I think just because of that, I'm going to go here with Vengeance Most Foul. But, I could be wrong. It could be The Wild Robot. Could be Flow if there isn't a visibility issue. So I'm conflicted here, but that's where I stand right now. Cinematography, Nosferatu just won the Critics' Choice Award. That's great and all, but Lowell Crowley did win the British Society of Cinematographers. He is British, so I do think The Brutalist has an edge here at BAFTA. If Nosferatu is winning the Oscar, I would look out for ASC and not BAFTA, and even then I do just think The Brutalist is going to win both and then the Oscar, so that's where I'm at here. Nosferatu is obviously the main challenger to The Brutalist in cinematography, but it does feel like this is the film that wins cinematography at BAFTA. Best editing, I am all over the place with predicting this category. I don't know what to do. For a while I had Dune Part 2 as the frontrunner here, but they didn't even give the first Dune Best Editing at BAFTA, and the Oscars did. And the Oscars did not even nominate Dune Part 2 in Best Editing. So that signals to me that, it's just not going to win the BAFTA award for Best Editing, which kind of sucks because it would be my vote. But, I'm kind of between three films here. I don't think Anora is winning Best Editing. I don't think that's happening here. It could at the Oscars, but I don't think it's winning here. So I'm between Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Kneecap. And right before I started recording this video, I saw the Oscar Expert posted his BAFTA predictions, and he's predicting Kneecap, and I was starting to get on board with that reasoning. Sometimes BAFTA gives Best Editing to a film not nominated for Best Editing at the Oscars, so there's certainly a possibility with how flashy it is in Kneecap that it just wins here because it's the British thing to do. But still, I struggle to predict something that far out there to win Best Editing. Maybe it just does end up being that, but I don't know. I struggle to actually predict it myself. Emilia Perez, I was thinking it was probably going to win this, but then the controversy, so I'm just starting to think probably not. So honestly, I'm going to go with Conclave here because, like I said a couple categories ago, it is the most nominated film here at BAFTA, so if they want to give it a win or two more than what is necessary, so to speak, I think it would be here in editing that makes the most sense, and then maybe it just doesn't win the Oscar, even if it is winning editing here. Production design here, this is a two-horser again. I don't think Dune has very much of a chance at all. I think this is strictly between The Brutalist and Wicked, and I really do want to predict The Brutalist here. It would please me personally, but I don't know. I am just hesitating, And sometimes the Oscar will give the blockbuster Best Production Design, and BAFTA will go with something else over that blockbuster. So in that sense, it makes sense to predict The Brutalist here, but once again, with it steadily on the decline, it feels weird to predict it here as well to win when I think it's going to even struggle to win like actor and picture. So I just struggle with also predicting it in production design when it feels like Wicked has the award on lock. So I'm just going to default to Wicked here, even though that there is that possibility that The Brutalist is just strong enough at BAFTA to win here, and then Wicked still win the Oscar. Best costumes, I don't have to spend as much time on this one. It's gonna be Wicked. Makeup and hair, it's the Substances Award. No need to spend time on it. Visual effects, this is most likely going to be Dune. I know it's been suffering in a lot of categories, but let's face it, this is winning at the end of the day. I know VES gave out their awards a day ago, 2 days ago, and Planet of the Apes won there, but the 3 previous Apes movies had won at VES, and none of them won at the Oscar, and I believe none of them had won at BAFTA, so that trend's just going to continue. Dune Part 2 is going to win. Best Sound, I am looking out for Wicked to win this category at the Oscars, but for here at BAFTA, doesn't really feel like that's going to happen. I do think this is going to be Dune Part 2. Would love it if it was The Substance, but it's going to be Dune Part 2 here at BAFTA. And then finally here, original score. You know, I know Conclave is the British movie, but this is going to be The Brutalist, I feel. It's still the frontrunner for the Oscar, especially since Challengers ain't nominated there. So I do think it's going to be just The Brutalist wins BAFTA and then wins the Oscar after that. And Daniel Blumberg, I believe, is British, the composer of The Brutalist, so makes sense why they would award him here. So yeah, that's it for my BAFTA winner predictions, everybody. Nothing too complicated, I don't think, with my predictions. I am just kind of going with most of the frontrunners here, but most of the frontrunners just make a lot of sense. I do think, in some of these categories, it will seal the award if they win. I think if Chalamet wins at BAFTA, it seals Best Actor because he's going to win SAG. So BAFTA SAG, he would win the Oscar, but, I'm still thinking it's going to be Brody. If Demi Moore wins here at BAFTA, I think that seals it shut because I do think she's going to win SAG. So there are some categories there, especially in the acting categories, where if it goes one way, it will just lock it up, and if it goes a different way, we got an open race for the Oscar. Supporting actor's another one. So yeah, that's my thoughts with the BAFTA winners. Honestly, I could do terrible on this. Who knows? Don't take it too seriously. I do not call myself an expert with these because I'm not. I've had this channel since August, so don't take my predictions all that seriously, guys. I do this stuff for fun because I like talking about movies, and I would like to talk about movies with you all because I find it fun to talk about them in a nice manner. So that's all I have to say for that. If you liked what you saw here today and you'd like to see more, subscribe to follow the odyssey that is Oscar season.